You know that feeling when you're scrolling through 100 different rowers, trying to picture each one in the corner of your living room, and wondering if the next thing you spend money on is going to actually sit there for a while instead of gathering dust? I get it. The fear of buying a piece of equipment that looks great on the page but ends up feeling like a waste of space, or a machine that promises a smooth, natural motion but just sounds like a noisy fan. That hesitation is real, especially when you're juggling a budget and a limited workout area. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Bluefin Fitness Blade Air tries to tackle that exact dilemma by blending a foldable frame with both magnetic and air resistance, and it leans heavily on the Kinomap app for coaching and live video streaming. At first glance, it feels like the kind of rower that wants to be both a serious cardio tool and a space-saving piece of furniture. The big question, though, is whether it delivers on both fronts for everyday users, not just for the home gym enthusiast who lives for every new fitness gadget. Let's start with who actually benefits from this machine. If you're someone who lives in an apartment or a small house and you need a piece of equipment that can disappear into a closet after a workout, the Blade Air's folding design is a genuine advantage. The frame collapses without requiring any tools beyond the basic toolkit that comes in the box, so you can stash it away in a corner or even under a bed. That convenience is more than just a marketing line. It means you can keep your living space functional while still having a cardio option that doesn't dominate the room. Another group that finds a lot of value here are users who thrive on guided workouts. The built-in compatibility with the Kinomap app turns a solitary row into something that feels like a group class. You can follow video routes that simulate rowing on a lake in Norway, or you can jump into live streaming sessions where a coach calls out your stroke rate. For people who need that external motivation, the app integration is a practical strength. It tracks calories, strokes per minute, distance, and even lets you compare your performance week over week, so the data you're seeing isn't just a static number on a console, it's part of a broader training story. Now, let's talk about the actual rowing feel. The dual resistance system air plus magnetic means you get that classic air rower sensation where the resistance ramps up as you pull harder, combined with the quieter, smoother pull you'd expect from magnetic units. In my experience, this hybrid approach feels more natural than a pure magnetic rower that can feel a bit mechanical when you're trying to push hard. When you settle into a steady pace, the air resistance provides that subtle drag you'd get on a real boat, while the magnetic component keeps the noise level manageable for a shared living space. If you've ever tried a budget air rower that rattles every time you hit a higher stroke rate, the Blade Air's design does a decent job of dampening that vibration. On the flip side, there are a couple of practical trade-offs you should be aware of. First, the reliance on the Kinomap app means that a stable internet connection becomes part of the workout experience. If you live in an area with spotty Wi-Fi, you might find yourself stuck with the basic LCD readout instead of the richer video coaching. The console itself is functional, showing calories, distance, and stroke rate, but it doesn't have the high-resolution graphics or extensive workout libraries you might see on premium models that come with their own built-in screens. So, if you're hoping for an all-in-one solution that works offline, you'll need to adjust expectations. Another point to consider is the noise profile. While the magnetic side does keep things relatively quiet, the air resistance component does produce the familiar swoosh that you hear on many air rowers. In a thin-walled apartment, that sound can carry, especially during high-intensity intervals. It's not a deal-breaker for most people, but if you share walls with a light sleeper or work from home and need near silence, you might want to test it out during a store demo or read through user videos to gauge how loud it gets at your typical stroke rates. Durability-wise, the Blade Air ticks several boxes that matter after the initial purchase. The foot pedals have an anti-slip surface, which is helpful when you're sweating through a long session, and the handlebars are ergonomically shaped to reduce hand fatigue. The frame feels sturdy enough for daily use, and the included maintenance toolkit suggests the brand expects owners to keep the machine in good shape over time. I've seen other rowers where the chain or belt needed regular adjustment. With this model, the dual resistance system is largely self-contained, meaning fewer moving parts that could wear out quickly. Let's run through a few concrete scenarios to illustrate who will feel this rower.